got a quick update relating to DC Dual Force for you. Some of this news dropped shortly after I posted my video yesterday, so a lot of you might not have actually seen this because you have to dive pretty deep to find it. First, I'll catch you up on what happened yesterday just in case you weren't there. The big takeaway from yesterday is that we are just weeks away from DC Dual Force. What you're looking at right now is the old website. For some reason, when you go to the URL on an Australian IP address, you get the old website. All of these pictures are taken down, but you still get the old website. Using any other IP address, you'll be greeted with this, which looks, I think, quite a bit nicer. We're just weeks away from a deep website to explore. My guess is that means we're going to have gameplay here and possibly some card reveals and stuff like that. So really looking forward to them expanding this website and giving us a closer look at the game before we get our hands on it. And your first day to play. Just weeks away from your first day to play. How exciting is that? That was pretty much all the news we got yesterday. Oh, and we got this Facebook post here, which showed off some of the cards. And we're going to talk a little bit about the cards here in a second because we actually have some new cards to show off. Well, we have one new card to show off. First, I do want to mention this because I think this is really cool. This was originally over on Facebook. A user asked the DC Dual Force Facebook, whoever's running this, asked about a release date or a beta. And then they responded, beta releases will come first, but we're weeks away from the full launch. How exciting is that? We are weeks away from the full launch and beta players are going to get access to it even earlier. So we could be playing this game as soon as like next week. Probably not next week. My guess is it's still probably a couple weeks away before people start getting invited because they're probably going to want to reveal some more stuff before they open up the game. But we are very, very close to launch. And that's super exciting, especially because yesterday we had no idea when to expect the game. The game could have been coming in December, but thankfully there's a lot clearer transparency about when the game's coming out, and hopefully we'll get access to beta soon enough. I will mention, I don't believe this is a beta sign up. This doesn't say beta anywhere. This is back on the website. But just in case, if you want to make sure you have a chance of getting into the beta, be sure to put your name and email here, and hopefully they'll get back to you. I've, of course, signed up myself, but I think this is just a mailing list. I don't think this is where we'll get beta invites, but maybe I'm wrong. So just in case I'm wrong, go sign up here if you want access to the beta. I really hope I get access to the beta because I plan to do a 24-hour live stream as soon as I get access to the game. So I wouldn't have made a video just to update you about this, even though I do think this is pretty exciting news because we didn't even know if we were getting a beta until they responded to this question. And now we know that we are getting a beta and that the beta is sooner than full launch, and full launch is just a few weeks away from now, or just, I should say, within weeks. But this is what I really wanted to make a video about. This is a post on the publisher's website, or at least their Japanese website. This is Yuke's website. Yuke's, again, is the publisher. CCG Labs is the developer. I won't bother translating this blurb to you because, quite frankly, it's essentially what you've already heard about the game. It's a DC game with characters like Superman and Batman. But the huge thing here that I actually didn't even notice, because the first time I looked at this, I was on mobile. I was at a party last night, so I was a little bit disconnected from this world, but I was trying to keep up to date with everything that's happening from my phone. And what I didn't notice while I was first looking at this is we have a brand new card here. We have Black Adam. And of course, we have maybe a better look at what Batman's effect was, because Batman wasn't even in this graphic here. With the Flash, Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn, and Batgirl. If you're curious to get my take on any of these, I did my video yesterday and I went over all of these effects. And probably one of the biggest changes since the game has been revealed again is that leaders no longer have two abilities. They just have the one ability. So let's go over all of the new stuff here. I'm going to go to Black Adam last because I think he's the most interesting, and he's our first look at a Tyranny leader. So first of all, Batman, we don't see the full effect because the DC logo is blocking it off, but we can see that Batman's ability costs 2. He gets 2 attack as a result. At least I believe that's a 2. It's either a 2 or a 3. The current assumption is that it is a 2 this turn. And then he also gets to create something and then 1, and then that's really the end of the text. There's obviously another line here, I think, but we don't really get to know what that says. So if you didn't know, when Batman was originally revealed, he looked at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you selected one of those cards to add to your hand. So instead of drawing cards from your deck, he's now creating cards. So he's obviously been dramatically reworked, as all of these leaders have been, but he still keeps that core identity of getting extra cards. Harley Quinn is pretty interesting because we don't actually see a cost associated with her leader effect. I do think somewhere later in this card's text, as we can see, there's an additional line that we can't quite see here. I think this will have a cost aside to it. It's just the first line is separate from the cost itself because it's not a part of the activation. So the first line of the text is end, adrenaline, draw a card. Now, adrenaline was not one of the initially revealed keywords, so we don't actually know what adrenaline does. My assumption is that end just means at the end of your turn. We previously saw Dr. Fate revealed, who's had a keyword called start. Now, I don't expect Dr. Fate to have the same effect because, quite frankly, literally every card has been changed, at least every card that we've seen, so I expect Dr. Fate to have possibly changed as well. So Dr. Fate's ability was going to resolve at the start of turn, at least that's my read. Previously, I thought it was on reveal, but now we've seen cards have the keyword deploy thanks to Batgirl. So deploy is probably on reveal or battle cry, and start is probably at the start of turn, and then based on Harley Quinn here, I'm gonna guess she's again at the end of turn. Adrenaline is a bit more up in the air, but then if you meet the condition, whatever the condition of adrenaline is, it's draw a card. If I was to guess what adrenaline does, just based on the name of the effect, maybe adrenaline triggers if you dealt damage to the enemy leader during that round. So if I successfully deal damage to the enemy leader, now I get to draw a card. Or perhaps if I receive damage during that turn or during that phase or whatever, I draw a card. And of course, we don't know the second half of her effect, but Harley Quinn has built-in card draw, so I'm pretty sure that should be pretty good. The old version of Harley Quinn, back when we had 2 leader abilities, that card seemed really good. I was actually really excited to use that version of Harley Quinn, but this version of Harley Quinn seems quite a bit different. Again, completely reworked. Black Adam's the last character we're going to look at here, and it's our first look at a Tyranny leader. He reads, after you deploy a recruit with, and then there's some piece of text there that gets cut off, charge Black Adam. So if you've ever wondered what the cost on each of these abilities is referring to, it's referring to a resource called charge. If you have 2 charge, you can spend that 2 charge on your 2 cost charge ability. But this first line of Black Adam's text has nothing to do with spending charge. Instead, we're gaining charge if we play a recruit with a specific condition. So my guess is that he'll either be involved with some type of tribal thing or he'll have some type of keyword synergy. So the word that's blocked off by the Dual Force text here might say a specific keyword. So whenever you play a recruit with that keyword, you then charge up Black Adam. So Black Adam has built-in charge generation, which is pretty exciting. And then his ability, which again gets cut off, has +5 written on it. And I'm just guessing here, I think this is going to be +5/+5. So I think you're going to be able to give a recruit +5/+5, which is a lot of stats. And I'm guessing this is a pretty expensive ability. Black Adam, of course, has that built-in charge generation that we were just talking about. So his ability is probably quite expensive and then quite impactful as a result of that. The reason I think it's +5/+5 rather than a specific value getting +5 is that we can see on example we just looked at Batman, whenever we see just +2 power being added as opposed to +2/+2, so like +2 power and then +2 defense, we see that the symbol comes second rather than before the plus value. So in this case, we see the plus value on the far right of Black Adam's display here, and then we see no symbol next to it. So my guess is that this is +5/+5. And if that's the case, that's a pretty huge buff. All right, there's your update. A pretty small one. Basically, all we went over is the brand new Black Adam card and talked about what little we could see on Harley Quinn and Batman. And of course, we now know news about the upcoming beta. I'll be sure to let you know as soon as we have more news about that beta. Again, go sign up on the website if you get a chance, just in case this is a beta email listing, but I highly doubt it. I think this is just a regular email listing. Anyway, I'm going to sign out there. Keep being awesome, and I'll catch you in the next one.